Hi everybody, this is a light language transmission. It's about the energies of the divine masculine and the divine feminine aligning through the heart. There's been quite a lot coming up around that. I've been working with that energetically, as have a lot of other people, a lot of other light workers. Yesterday in the afternoon I received a message of a friend in India who was working with that as part of a tantric group as a ritual associated with Diwali in India, and it connected to the moons. And he sent me a picture of a heart, a rock in the shape of a heart, amongst all the other rocks on the ground. 5 minutes later, a feminine sent me a picture of a coral in the shape of a heart on a beach in England. And shortly after that, a friend in Norway sent me this one of two men discovering a crystal amethyst heart in Uruguay. And to me, this is symbolic of the masculine and feminine hearts, bringing in the divine love from the heavens into unconditional love in their heart, expressing that outwardly in the world, to be able to bring it together in the physical reality. It looks to me there like the masculines discovering their hearts and even discovering their twin hearts or their twin flames. And I'm feeling a lot of frequency coming in as I say that. So it's about becoming consciously aware of it. So then the cards that I pulled were around exactly that process about how soul connections, and especially twin flame connections, they come from above first, from the divine love, from divine consciousness. So as we're doing our work and we're clearing our lower, our DNA, our karma, our blockages, our learnt behaviours, our learnt beliefs, and becoming more and more connected to our divine consciousness, who we are at a soul level, and we can really access those states of love and bliss. We then, that filters down, the more we can be in those states, that filters down into a heart level of unconditional love, where when we're embodying that, we're no longer needing love from others in the same way. We have that love within ourselves, and the more we come into connection with that self-love, where we're not putting conditions on ourselves to feel worthy of love, and we're no longer therefore putting conditions on others to be worthy of love. So the judgments start to disappear. We start to realise that those limitations were mind constructed, but the love is always there, and we can see people with compassion and love, and we start to emanate that frequency out into the world. And what the frequency that we're emanating out into the world, it goes out in an infinity loop. So the vibration that we are vibrating at, the frequency, the emotions, the level of love that we're containing within ourselves and embodying in ourselves and allowing ourselves to be. It's almost like tuning to a radio station. We then transmit that out and it comes back to us. So it goes out into the world and it comes back to us in a loop, in an infinity loop, and then it goes out the back and then comes back in. So as it goes out, it affects everyone around us and everything around us, and it comes back. And as it comes back in, we can see we can see it in signs and synchronicities and things around us. So I found when I started doing this, I started seeing love hearts everywhere. And now, because people know that I see love hearts everywhere, because I post pictures of them in everything, in my food, everywhere. And to me, that's about the divine love and the unconditional love. It's not about romantic love. It's feeding back to me that I am love. And as that happens, people then start to send me pictures of hearts, which I love that so much. But yesterday was incredible how many hearts I got all at once. And symbolically from the masculine and the feminine, and then the masculine feminine unified, which so that's the universe speaking back to me through what I'm working with. That's how the universe is communicating with me, and showing me what I'm putting out, what I'm clearing through, and where I'm at. And obviously the collective that I'm connected to are at. They're also putting out their frequencies, and it's coming back. So that's the universe communicating based on your frequency, what's going on in your field, what's going on around you, what you're bringing into your life, what you're attracting into your life. Basically, it's your GPS. So with these cards, I feel they're expressing that universal truth about what we're putting out and how that comes back to us, and how we become consciously aware of what we're putting out, and where we're at and what we're navigating through and what we're clearing. But it also brings me to, I think it's also a great illustration of how soul relationships work, because when you're connected to your soul and you're in your authentic soul vibration, and you're bringing that through, and you're transmuting everything that is not that in physical reality to really come into full embodiment in your life, the relationships you attract match that. And whereas, 3D level relationships that adhere to the old templates of relating, which is more of a codependent, kind of in a way, a business arrangement in a way. It's convenient, it's practical, and I'm not saying there's not love there, because of course there often is. I'm just talking about the difference in the templates of relating. It's the old template's not related to soul connections as much as more practical and emotional, let's say, arrangement as such, meeting needs at those levels. So in those kind of relationships, you search for someone, or you might just meet them accidentally, but there's a chemistry. It's like a physical chemistry, it's an emotional chemistry. Sometimes there's a soul recognition, but that might be less conscious. And you get along and you're compatible, and once you've ticked all those things off, and you've tried it for a while, and it's working, and you're happy, and let's make this a permanent thing. You might get married and have a family, and you get along with each other's friends and all of that kind of thing. So that's from the 3D level, and then it can escalate higher into a more unconditional love, and that's quite often where it stops, as an unconditional love, unless there's already a soul connection and a soul recognition there. And it very much depends on where you were at in your spiritual evolution and how much of your soul light you're embodying. With a soul relationship, you may be completely uncompatible in your personality types, in your cultures, in your age, but there's a soul recognition. There's like you've got imprinted in your sacred mind, in your divine mind, different points and triggers that activate or certain awarenesses, or certain it's almost like you cross a certain point on your GPS and a little light goes off and you go, oh, and it unravels a program of, oh, this is what I need to do now. So you meet a certain person, it activates your awakening or your soul awareness. You recognize that, oh, this is a pivotal point. I need to pay attention to this person. The feelings come from a whole other level of longing, desire, needing recognition. It triggers all your lower things that are coming up to be cleared through this process. It can feel overwhelming, it can feel painful, it can be confusing. But basically it's going from, excuse me, that stuff coming up. Oh, so what that's telling me, because that's very throat, is it's about coming into your true authenticity. So it's clearing everything out that is not authentic according to your soul light and your soul purpose. Although all these things are important as you incarnated into these patterns for your soul's growth and your soul's learning, you wanted to and needed to experience these things. And if you're a light worker, who's having these soul experiences, you will be part of the Ascension process, which involves clearing all these lower issues for the collective. And that's so then that's part of the process, is these soul connections trigger those recognitions and those realizations. They mirror back to you what it is that you're here to do, what you're here to clear. They show you through your emotional body and your triggers that it's there, and it can sometimes be in a painful way. And that then, it basically comes from the soul level through divine love, divine awareness, divine light, brings you down into your conditional love for self, unconditional love for self. That's how it filters down. At this point, you may not even be in a relationship with this soul connection, because it triggers all of these traumas to be released. And then eventually, as you work through all these layers, and you push and pull against each other, as you mirror each other's issues that come up for clearing, you eventually come down into this level of intimacy where you can come together, where you can tolerate the light without being triggered, where you're unconditionally loving yourself. And as you're each doing that, you can then come into an unconditional love for each other, having transmuted all the, let's say, incompatibilities, but they are incompatibilities that were chosen to be experienced and worked through to come together. So it can be a really long process. It's a really powerful process. It takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of love, but what you're doing through this other person is embodying divine and unconditional love into the human level existence. And then when you come together in this intimacy, it is not like anything else. It is, it's tantric, it's powerful, it's bringing divine creative energy through two vessels that create a third energy, which is powerful, and it is to be used in the highest good of all. It's bigger than the two of you, and it's extremely divine. that's what the message is about today. It feels like a really big message, and I feel my heart just inflamed with love right now. So I'm going to bring some light language through, and I'm going to use the mirror card from Cassidy Kane's Twin Flame deck that was picked in relation to this as well. These other cards are from the Sacred Power reading cards by Anna Stark. Okay, here comes the light language. We're focusing on the Divine Consciousness card. So we're going from the top all the way down, and helping to create that flow. Isha sakata taka choko sotoko toko toko choko sotoko taka kasa ta choko soko toko toko soko choko sotoko chopata sakata kaka sakata taka choko sotoko boko. Isa chasakapa taka popoko toko boko. Isa chasakata potoko koko sotoko chopoko sotoko potoko toko choko sotoko toko taka chaka kaka soko po. Isa chasaka kata kaka soko koko koko toko poko toko chosoko potoko toko toko. Isa chasakata poko soko toko choko soko toko toko choko soko to. Isa kata kata sakato koso toko to choko so toko toko taka choko so toko taka. Isa chasoko toko potoko koso to toko soko choko potaka sata kata 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 ko toko choko soko toko koko soko toko ko. Isa kachasa kata pakaka kata kasa kata koko toko chopoko. Isa kasa kacha kasa tako koko toko chosoko toko ko toko chosoko toko bataka choko. Isa chasa kata kata koko toko choposoko kata kata ko. Isa chasa kata kata kasa kata chosoko toko koko toko chokoso toko potoko koko. Isa chasa kata kaboko toko koko toko chokoso toko taka chokoso toko potoko chopokoso toko boko. Isakacha sakakata kakata kachoko toko toko bata kacha sakapoto koko toko so chokopoto koko. Isakacha sakakata kakasa kata ko chokopo soko chokopo soko toko toko to. Isakacha sakata toko koko so toko choko soko toko toko. Isakaka chakakata kakasa kakato koko soko toko chasoko takapata. Isakacha sakato koko soko chopoko so toko poko soko tipa chakasata kapo. Isakacha sapakata koko soko chopo soko toko poko soko soko chopo toko sopo toko chopo soko topo. Isakacha sakakata kapoko so toko chopoko so toko koko so toko potakacha. Isakata kakasa kata koko so toko potoko chopo skata poko toka. Isakacha sata kapoko so toko chopoko so toko kata kata. Isachaka sakakata kako soko potoko chopo soko topoko. Isakacha pataka sakataka ko soko potoko. Isachaka sapatoko bosoko toko chopo soko topo tita soko topo toko chopo soko poto. Isakacha baka sakata koko so toko chopo soko topo taka kachapo soko toko. Isakacha baka sataka kaka taka satoko toko koko toko poko soko topo chopo ko. Ikacha baka takata koto toko potaka chapaka sataka poko o. Isakata kata sakata boko so topo toko chopo so topo. Isakataka chabakoto, Isachaka satabakatoko, Ikataka kotoko sotaka chabakataka satokopo, Isachaka sakata pakatoko sokotoko chokobo sotokobotaka, Isachakapataka kataka satokopoko toko chabakataka sakapotoko, Isakatapakatoko topo chokopo, Isachakapataka bokoto boko tokopo, Isachakapataka takapo sotokopoko tokoto, Isachakataka kataka satako chopoko sotopoko, Ikakataka sataka chopoko sataka patoko chopo sakata poko, Isachakapataka kataka chopoko satapataka chopo sotokopotaka. Isataka pataka tako tokoto, ikatasaka taka taka sataka patata, isatasaka pataka taka sakata poko, isatasaka taka kasata poko ko toko chupo sokotaka kataka, isachasaka taka potoko potaka chipoko sotaka taka patita, isachasaka pataka poko tokoto, akatakato ata sakapoto, isachapasaka poko sotopo, isachasaka patapa patokopo, isachasapataka pakataka sapotoko poko potoko chupo skotopoko. Isachasaka pataka sataka chopoko sotoko poko taka taka sabotoko. Isakataka chopaka sataka poko toko poko topoko toko toko chokopo sotoko. Isachasaka pataka chasata pataka tasa chopoko toko sopataka chopo. Isachasaka pataka poko to soko toko to. Is just a kapataka potoko popoto. Is just a packet pocoso to pocoto toko chapakata. Is just a pataka pocosata pataka chiboso. Is just a kapataka pacasa pataka chipo. Is just a pataka takato coso to kupata chakasa pataka patasa chipoco to pataka chipoko. Is a pataka pocosa takabata chocopoco so potocopo. Asakataka chicoposo to kupataka chipoco so to kupata katakoto. Aka ataka akata otoko so toko ataka potoko also to kopoto. Asataka patasakata pococho bosa takapatakopo. Isachasa kapatakapata opotoso potopoto tokchobosa takapataka chipokoso topotakapata a asakataka chipoko o isachasa patakapo o ikataka otobostakapato. Isachasa kapatakapa atapotokopo asapotokoto kochobokoso takakasa tapoko. Akajoboto batakataka akatokochoba atakasapataka atakabotopo asatapacha kapotokopo o sotopotopo kotopotopo tokopoko sotopoko koko toko toko akatakataka satakapoko kotoko. So I just felt that those rainbow colors in that divine consciousness card coming down from above just flood through the energy field of all of you from above all the way down. I can feel it all the way down through. It's almost like a slight dizziness, lightheadedness, and then all the way down through into the cells of the legs. I'm getting that it's the adamantine particles, which is the God particles, the creative life force particles, coming down into embodiment. Right now I'm seeing them flow down into that unconditional love. So I'm seeing pink now. Now I'm seeing that filtering into the intimacy card. I can see it between the lips of the masculine and feminine. Their hearts on fire. Fire is a soul. There are three fires of us. There's the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, and I can see them being activated through the unity. It's very, I can feel it powerfully in the physical body. I can feel the crown chakra activated and on fire. Ikachokotoko oko tokoboto okoto. Ikato o sokoto okoboto. Akachakato o sotoko oboto. Isakatoko o topokoto. Okay, so that feels like it might need quite a bit of integration. I can feel the left and right hemispheres of the brain activating, enlightening, reorganizing, clearing. I can feel it moving through the cerebrospinal fluid and the lower back adjusting. Isakataka o. Okay, so really listen to your intuition. Give yourself a lot of time to integrate and drink a lot of water and rest. Anything that comes up emotionally or physically in your body is likely to be just a release, so allow it. Give yourself unconditional love as you're moving through those things, and take care. Blessings.